everyone, welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm the host of the show, Mark, and you're watching Whiskey Review number 179 from Mackmyra, the Swedish single malt whiskey company, although they do some other whiskeys other than single malt. We are going to be looking today at this one. This is Mackmyra Expedition. This one embodies the spirit of travel, the spirit of exploring new things, and as such, they've decided to put that on cruise ships, so that's really cool. The Viking line and a few others of the Scandinavian lines, which I can't pronounce, the Tallink Silja, Birka Cruises, and Ekerölinjen. Okay, so those cruise ships, as well as charter flights and airports in Sweden. So that's quite interesting. Now, let's get that one poured. And again, a big thank you to Miss Lisa Collins and also Miss Angela Dorazio, who is the master blender for the company, for sending me these samples. Now, I've got color-coded glasses so I don't confuse things. And the uncolor-coded one is this one, which is the first edition, which I reviewed some months ago. So we'll start with this one, Mackmyra Expedition. We'll put that in the pink colored glass. And I'm not going to go all in because I've got to do 4 of them. All right. Spilled a drop. That's too bad. We'll put that back there. Yeah, it's really too bad that these samples arrived for me a day late. I was supposed to take part in a Mackmyra whiskey Twitter tasting on Twitter. Have a look for me on Twitter if you are Whiskey Whistle. You'll find me. WHISKY WHISTLE. Whiskey Whistle. Anyway, Twitter tastings, really interesting idea. I think I'll probably do some of my own in the very near future. Now, this one, Expedition, we've got American oak and Swedish oak. So that's kind of like the standard for Mackmyra now. Mackmyra, I think we'll try Mackmyra. And the different thing here with this one is that it has been extra matured in Swedish cloudberry wine. And what was that called in Swedish again? Oh boy, I can't remember now. I should be able to find that real quick. It is known as Hjotron, I think. Hjotron.
Rock.
Oh, that's the... okay, wrong word. And we get, yes.
Hjotron.
Hjotron. Okay, so Hjotron wine casks. Do I smell any berry? I smell a lot of sweetness. I can't say I really smell the berry. Now let me just compare with the first edition. A little bit more grainy. A little bit more of a bright, tart sweetness, and that maybe from the wine, in fact. So that's interesting. What else do I get on the nose here? Again, it's quite bright. It really uplifts your senses. So I smell it, and it has a certain, I don't want to call it a sharpness. It has a certain kind of a brightness to it that makes you want to smell it again. Can I smell the malt? Not so much. Whiskey scents, of course. I think they're using a very interesting yeast as well, and I'd like to know about that. If you have any information on the yeast used at Mackmyra, please let me know. Subtle vanillas. Not really cinnamon. Vanilla, maybe a bit of what is that? cedar wood and you know, the wood planks that that they fire pizza on. Well, let's taste it and see how it is. Cheers, everybody, and a big thank you to Ms. Angela and Lisa. Yes, there's the card. Cheers. Yes, I do get some berry type of flavors as I hang on to it for quite a long time in my mouth. And the Swedish oak has really been ramped up. As I was told, they didn't quite have enough of it to put more than 5% back then. And I think they're up to about 10% now for most of their whiskeys, maybe more for others. And being Expedition, I wonder, maybe they actually used even some more Swedish oak in there. And if they put in a lot of smaller casks, especially smaller Swedish casks, then the effect of that added flavor will be even more. Because the smaller the cask is, the more whiskey to oak, the ratio of oak to whiskey increases. The nose is changing a lot as I taste and smell it now. There's a bit of earthiness to it. Something like you would smell walking through a wooded area after a rain. Spring trees and some spring flowers and spring grasses. It's very fresh. I think I need a little bit more of that in the glass. There we go. Just about halfway. Add a dash of water to it now. The finish, I'm noticing some definite barley sweetness to it. Not quite a brown sugar, kind of like a in between, maybe like the raw sugar type of a flavor. Very nice. Very long finish for whiskey that hasn't been around for all that long, so they don't have those old casks that they can teaspoon in that'll have a big effect on the overall flavor. You know, when they mix the casks. If you're watching and you're not really sure about single malt, don't forget that single doesn't have anything to do with a single cask or a single batch or anything like that. The single just means it's from a single distillery, one distillery. So when you think about huge distilleries that have more than 10 or 15 stills, I guess there could be some differences still to still. Now, I think Mackmyra doesn't have that many. They've got 2 distilleries, in fact, and I wonder what's going to happen with that one. I guess, in fact, they can actually make now a blended Swedish whiskey. They're not even on the in the same vicinity of each other, so that's interesting. Anyway, so added a bit of water there. Yes, more berry sweetness now is coming through here. It reminds me of a certain Sauternes finished whiskey, in a way. Oh yes, and a little bit more vanilla coming through here now. Vanilla and custard. Still quite a lot of wood, a lot of rich cedar flavors are noticed here. By me. Why would I use the passive? I don't know. Cheers. Grain rich, malt rich. And that berryness is kicking through even in the finish now. Which presents itself just as a nice sweetness that you wouldn't get from something that doesn't have any kind of a wine finish to it. Boy, I'm really taking a lot of this, aren't I? Well, so that is the Expedition from Mackmyra. Very interesting, long finish. Vanilla seems to be the predominant flavor in my opinion. A little bit of berry sweetness coming through in the nose, in the palate, and in the finish. And a good amount of that rich wood influence, which presents itself here kind of like cedar wood. And the finish really carries quite a long time. So a very nice expression, definitely worth picking up if you are on a cruise ship touring Sweden, okay? So Mackmyra Expedition, the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey score for that one, which is right here. The picture's right there now. Well, very nice. Very much to my liking, and a nice enough departure from their earlier beginnings. One more comparison. Have a bit of water. As I spill it on myself. That's great, isn't it? All right. Just that added dimension of the Swedish berries, the cloudberry wine cask finish, and also a stronger influence from the Swedish casks. So, well, the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey score for Mackmyra Expedition is going to be 86 out of 100. That's the WhiskyWhistle score for this one. Really lovely, definitely worth buying. And if you do have the ability to purchase, let me know what you think. Leave a comment, and you know, you can always tag me in your own Instagram post. Just tag me, WhiskyWhistle. Leave a tag. Let me know you've tried it. My Facebook page, don't forget to like it and get involved. Leave a post on the visitor posts area. Anyway, thanks very much. Stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be the new 10-year-old. There it is. Stay tuned for that one. Over and out.